After the flights, I get into some very basic research. I'm looking up what are the best things to do in this country. I'm bookmarking videos so I can come back to them. I'm reading travel blogs. I'm reading articles about what are the best things to do in this country. I'm watching YouTube videos. Anything I can do to just consume a bunch of content about this country so I know what are the best things to do while I'm there. We're going to be in Ireland for 4 nights, so I knew I could be pretty broad with this search because if we really wanted to, we could drive to the other side of the country. And I highly recommend going to multiple sources just because some person's idea of a perfect trip to Ireland is not going to be the same as yours. So you want to get some different perspectives. For example, for Ireland alone, there's going to be some people who just love the history of it and they just want to see all the ruins and the castles. And there's some people who want to see the countryside and they just want to enjoy the nature and the cliffs. And there's going to be some people who just want to go to a pub and drink beer in Ireland. You know, that's part of it. Now, while I'm watching these videos or reading these blogs, I'm taking notes on all of it. Anything that's standing out to me as something that could be really cool, or anything that's just coming up time and time again. If people are constantly recommending this attraction, that's a pretty good indicator that it's a good spot. Don't worry about getting everything. You just want to get some big ideas in here. Now keep in mind, this is a very broad list here. So we're talking, what are the best cities to go to? What are the best views? What are the best tours? Maybe you read an article about the very best restaurant in this country and you have to go to this while you're there. Just write it down. We're just trying to get some general ideas of some cool things you can do when you're there. Now from there, I just like to map everything out. Just put some of these things into your Google Maps and see where they are in relation to everything else in the country. This is a great way to eliminate some of those ideas before you having to do too much research. For example, I would love to go to the Giant's Causeway. I think it'd be awesome. But it is in Northern Ireland and pretty much everything else I had on my list was in the south. So it's just not something we're gonna do this time around. But of course, this is also a good time to realize how important is something like that to you. Say you wanted to go to Ireland specifically for the Giant's Causeway. You're just going to have to realize, hey, I'm going to miss some of these things in the south maybe, or maybe you're just going to be doing way more driving. It's kind of up to you at this point. But the important thing is here is nothing is set in stone. You're just getting a general idea. So once I kind of see where everything is, I'm going to lay out what I think might be a decent path. For our trip, I really didn't want to do more than 3 or 4 hours of driving per day. So I kind of mapped it out that way. And I just want to see how long it takes to get to each of them. Keep in mind, this is going to vary greatly depending on your travel expectations. When we went to Santorini, I didn't get a rental car because I knew we were just going to be doing mostly walking. I did a lot of research on the bus system, so I knew what to expect if we wanted to go somewhere on the island, but I didn't make many plans for things that required a drive because I didn't want to do a rental car. I just wanted to be able to hang out and walk places. But in this case, something about Ireland just screamed road trip to me. I knew very early in the planning process that I wanted to get a rental car and just see things on our own time. After I got everything down on a list, I made a general path of what I wanted to do. I added some things in, I cut some things out. I ended up with 3 main cities that I wanted to stay in. And then from there, I just have to decide on what I'm doing in each of those cities. I'm sure you can see how that makes the planning a little less intimidating. Breaking down a trip like this just makes it so much easier in my mind because it allows me to get big thoughts down on broad plans without needing to get the little details too early on. If we wanted to completely change this original path, we can do that because I didn't schedule a tour for the Kilkenny Castle on my first day of doing research. Nailing down specific details too early on in the planning process will do more bad than good. There's time for more details once we get more things set in stone. Of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know in the comments. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you next time.